I change clothes like my hoes. I love designer, and I change my flows like who knows. I want the commas, many Hondas.
Who could beat who in a fight? This is an age-old question as old as comics, manga, and even time itself. This conversation has been the center of many lunch debates and classroom fights and everything in between. But I'm here to talk about power scaling as a whole. Not much of its history, but a little bit of how it actually works and the reasons why it's pretty stupid, honestly, and we need to stop doing it so much. However, if you love it and just love the spirit of debate, then there's nothing wrong with it. But some people just go too crazy about it and take it too far. So before we get into this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe because it's going to be a very good and interesting one because I'm giving real examples as well. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Now, these guys by no means were the ones to invent or create power scaling. However, I would say that they were the ones to really make it popular because they have a long-standing history of just creating power scaling videos that might span over a decade because they've made many episodes, maybe even over 1,000 episodes of power scaling, and that has to be the Death Battle guys. So I gotta shout them out because I feel like without their channel, power scaling wouldn't be where it is today. But let's talk about what power scaling actually is. So in any power scaling conventional video, what most people do they would take the attack potency or the attack power or the AP of two characters and as well as their durability, and then also take their mobility, which is like their speed, and they would then compare them with each other. But because these two characters normally don't exist within the same universe, they need to compare feats, which is what they use to compare different things that characters have done within their comics or stories in order to see how strong they are, how fast they are to match up and see, all right, therefore this character has done this and this character has done that, therefore this character is either faster or stronger or more durable, meaning that this character would win or lose the fight. It usually makes sense to do this with characters with similar backstories or abilities in different universes, but sometimes I've seen some crazy power scaling matchups that literally just make no sense, and people just do this in order to stir up debate and create conjecture. And honestly, guys, it's pretty fucking stupid and we need to stop. Let me give you some examples. Shadow from Sonic the Hedgehog universe versus Vegeta. Like, what do they have in common? And then you have Kirby versus Majin Buu. How do they have anything in common? Obviously, I can see a comparison between Batman and Spider-Man being somewhat realistic, but some of these power scaling battles just literally make no sense, and it just makes people go crazier and crazier about feats that really have no point. And let me get to my first point on how these feats really have no importance. The first issue with power scaling is favoritism or confirmation bias. And what confirmation bias is the tendency to interpret new evidence as confirmation as one's existing beliefs or theories. Now, let me explain why this is a problem. In the shortest sense, people make up arguments for their favorite characters winning because they are biased. They already believe their favorite character is the greatest and the strongest. So therefore, they create these things, these theories in their mind as to why they would win in any fight, even the most ridiculous of fights, which make no sense. Like, Batman should not be able to beat Thor, but because of people's confirmation bias, they say that, oh, if Batman preps long enough, he should be able to beat Thor. It doesn't make any sense. Thor is a literal god of lightning. He would vaporize Batman in a second. Let me give you another example. So I've been seeing all over the internet and just Reddit posts and things like that apparently Spider-Man pulls his punches and he'd actually be a lot stronger than you think if he didn't pull his punches and have that mental block of not trying to kill people. And I'm like, all right, fair, but maybe that only works for him fighting normal, regular villains that he fights in his real world, as in maybe non-superheroes like the regular thugs and bad guys he sees on the street that he normally runs into. Spider-Man pulling his punches will not have any difference on a character like Superman. They're just worlds apart in power. You can't even scale them together. Spider-Man has no chance. He has no chance against even some of the stronger characters in his universe. Like, Spider-Man versus Hulk should not be a debate. You see what I'm saying? And this brings me back to my next point, which is, does it really matter, guys? I know this is kind of a dumb point, but it is the whole crux of the argument. Does it really matter? These characters were written to inspire. So what's important is not their strength and their abilities and their speed feats and things that they can do, because realistically, it doesn't even matter. They're not real world characters. Therefore, their feats are fake and they never happen. What is important, though, is the substance of the character and who they are and what the message is to why they were written and what you can learn from their lessons as well. That's what makes the character important. It's not about how fast or is he faster than light, speed, attacks. You know, those things, that doesn't really matter. And I think we're missing the point when we try to power scale these characters for that. same point of view. Like, sure, maybe Vegeta could solo the whole Naruto cast. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. That doesn't change the fact that he's a redeeming character with great qualities and one of the best dynamic characters in all of anime and manga history. A character that we have a lot of lessons to learn from, and he has a lot of inspiring quotes. And sure, just because Saitama can defeat Spider-Man in a fight doesn't mean that I'll like Saitama more. I mean, obviously Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters, not for his power, because hey, he's just a kid in the city trying to defeat bad guys and do good, even though his powers aren't that great. I think that's the message, because even though his powers aren't that great, he still has power more than others. And the age-old lesson of with great power comes great responsibility is one of the reasons why we all know and love Spider-Man so much. So again, we don't love these characters for their feats, but we love them because of their lessons and their compelling development, because of the good writing that created these characters. Without them and the good writing, they would have no importance in our lives. I don't think anyone would ever remember that Spider-Man can stop a train, because that's not important. What we do remember is Spider-Man does the best to always protect his loved ones. Things like that, as well as Ichigo always wanting to care for his loved ones and protect his loved ones. That's one of the most endearing qualities about most of these anime protagonists. And that brings me to my final point about power scaling being very stupid, is the fact that no author of any comic, manga, or whatever you want to call it writes for power scaling. Like, I'm pretty sure Stan Lee, Masashi Kishimoto, Gege Akutami, anyone you could think of, I don't think they wake up in the morning like, let me make sure that my character scales to Hulk, because then it won't be consistent. I'm sure they still have the same issues making sure that their characters are consistent within their own universes and making sure the writing just isn't completely fabricated and fictional to the point where it doesn't make any sense. So why would they then take the time out of their day to make sure that their power scaling matches up with any character in any universe, or even giving some type of context? Like, let me give you an example. There's this scene in Battle of Gods where Goku and Beerus basically are punching at each other and they're creating shockwaves, and they say that the shockwaves are portrayed to be as powerful as a destructive event to destroy the whole universe. That's how much power they are generating. So obviously Akira Toriyama put this in there to, just give the fans a little bit of fun, to tell them, all right, this is how powerful the punches are. It wasn't meant to be like, oh, let's take it to the next level, and oh, he can destroy a universe, therefore he can beat Superman, and he's the strongest in the universe, and he can defeat Zeno, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, I don't think that's the point, because let me give you another example. There's also parts in Dragon Ball Z where we see Goku driving and, dodging bullets, or characters will dodge bullets. If they were that durable, why would they even need to dodge the bullets? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Also, Goku, when he drives, he wears a freaking seatbelt. I know you guys have seen him. He's literally, whenever he's driving a truck or he's farming, he wears a seatbelt. Sometimes he's not always using his powers, or sometimes there's an instance where Krillin threw a rock at Goku's head and he said ow, like it hurt. If you're a universal feat character, how would that hurt you? So that's why I'm saying that let's not pay too much attention to the actual power scaling and just pay attention to the writing, because obviously the writer is the one that chooses who wins and who doesn't. Let me insert this clip for you by Stan Lee, the fucking godfather of Marvel Comics himself. He best explains why the whole power scaling argument is really stupid. But I hope you enjoyed that video, guys, and my thoughts on this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Definitely leave a like and subscribe, and share this with a friend if you agree with me. And before you go, remember to, as always, find your Zen, your final form. I hope to catch you in the next video, guys.
So one question I'm always asked: who would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight if Galactus fought the Hulk? Or if Thor fought Iron Man? And there's one answer to all of that. It's so simple. Anyone should know this. The person who'd win in a fight is the person that the scriptwriter wants to win.
Hit my flows like who knows, I want the commas.